And as the roar of the crowd returns to Churchill Downs, it is post time.
When all eyes are on the horses,
The Kentucky Derby.
it's Travis Stone's voice in your ear,
They're in the gate,
bringing the race's story to life.
and they're off in the Kentucky Derby. And here comes Rich Strike down toward the inside. It's a wild finish in the Kentucky Derby, and on the wire, Rich Strike does it! Wow! A shocker in the Kentucky Derby. Epicenter.
I thought for a moment I might be having a stroke right afterward because it like this overwhelming like headache the moment they passed the wire, but it was like so intense.
The intensity that puts fans on the edge of their seats is the same for Stone, but from this spot above the finish line.
Your brain just processes it all so fast, and you just say his name. You just have to trust the process and trust the prep, and that was not fun. I even remember having anxiety until they put the number on the board. Like, did I call the right horse?
In seconds, he had to trust his gut that yes, number 21, that's Rich Strike. It's a skill that takes weeks of preparation.
I'm a quirky, sort of routine-based guy, so there's a lot of things I have in here that I need.
The long shot win proving every horse every year deserves his attention.
It's like the nature of the game, right? So every year there's going to be something, and I think I just want to be ready for all of those possible scenarios.
Like any good student, his materials are color-coded and facts lined out, studying any chance he gets nearly the whole month leading up to the Derby.
I'm trying to find ways of just making it more interesting and different. I don't want any two races to sound the same.
His toolbox is a bit unusual.
The binoculars, markers, Ricolas, throat coat tea, bottles of water.
Markers to memorize the silks and saddlecloths so he can match them to names and numbers. The tea, water, and Ricolas to help keep his voice strong for the whole season.
Every single race. I'll miss 1 week this year because my brother's getting married. But other than that, I mean, knock on wood, I've never called in sick.
His life dedicated to calling races since he was a kid. Growing up, going to Saratoga in New York with his family.
I was one of those kids, I'd come home and pretend to call races or pretend to play horse racing.
He went to college for communications, then auctioneer school.
So was that like a whole class in auctioneer school?
Every morning we'd spend an hour doing these ridiculous things, yeah. And then you'd go 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, you know, it's just, yeah. I had fun, it was a good time. But
And now you can rattle them off.
I can, yeah.
Played out in your favor.
It did. Bing bong was the single best thing that came out of that auctioneer school. That is, bing bong for anybody that speaks, that's money.
Bing bong, bing bong.
Bing bong. Start talking down here.
And if you can believe it, his first Kentucky Derby was his first year on the job at Churchill in 2015.
It just got to the point where it's like, all right, you can't think about what you're doing. You can't get worried and get all anxiety ridden. You just have to go ahead and call this race. There's nothing like calling the Derby.
Especially when it's full of surprises.
It is Rich Strike at 80 to 1.
With photojournalist Darius Bowie, Monica Harkins, WDRB News.